This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Health and Human Services Secretary recently made a dubious claim about the percentage of children taking antidepressants. Wisconsin Watch's Trisha Young has the fact check.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. claimed in Milwaukee that, quote, 40% of our kids are on antidepressants, unquote. However, the latest data indicate that fewer than 8% of U.S. minors use these medications. A 2022 federal survey found 6.6% of children had used a psychotropic medication like an antidepressant in the prior month. Another 2024 study from the University of Michigan found 7.9% of teens filled at least one antidepressant prescription in 2022. I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Learn more at wisconsinwatch.org.
And students from Wausau West High School met with the Wisconsin Department of Justice and Wausau School District members last week to discuss school safety. Attorney General Josh Call and Office of School Safety Executive Director Trish Kilpin visited the school as a stop on their journey across the state, with the goals to learn more directly from the students. One of the takeaways, how positive students were about the relationship that they have with teachers inside of the building. Students felt that having staff members who they could trust, who would both listen to them and care for them, made them feel safer and more welcome in the school. The Attorney General said that physical safety is still top of mind, and the Office of School Safety positively commented on the Wausau School District's safety measures, especially for staff training on behavioral threat assessment as well as intervention and critical incident response work. And Hodag has announced their first performers taking the stage in Rocking Rhinelander. Country music stars Nate Smith, Warren Zaders, Mitchell Tenpenny, and the returning favorite Neil McCoy will be here next year. The burglary of a Bucks star's home could be connected to other break-ins at other athletes' estates. Stuart Waddles has the story.
A string of home burglaries targeting professional athletes has caught the attention of investigators who are now exploring potential connections between the incidents. The latest victim, Milwaukee Bucks forward Bobby Portis, had his River Hills home burglarized earlier this month, with authorities noting similarities to break-ins at the residences of NFL stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. The investigation also includes a September burglary at Minnesota Timberwolves player Mike Conley's home. It suggested that there's a possible trend in high-profile athlete home invasions.
And over a month has passed since farmers in western Wisconsin were forced to give away chickens after a poultry producer went out of business. And now they're struggling to stay afloat. Jimmy Kuska tells us more.
Fallout continues in western Wisconsin after a Minnesota poultry producer went bankrupt, leaving farmers in 3 states on the hook for hundreds of thousands of chickens with no money or food to take care of them. Now, barns sit empty and farmers are out of work. Congressman Derek Van Orden criticized the USDA for a lack of accountability and said his office hadn't heard from the agency about $50 million that it gave to the poultry producer a year and a half ago in the form of federal grants. State governments in Minnesota and Iowa stepped in and made farmers euthanize the birds, but here in Wisconsin, no law exists for this type of situation, so some farmers took to giving the chickens away instead. In Trumpelow County, that amounted to tens of thousands of free chickens, but also tens of thousands of dollars worth of feed, with no relief coming from either the state or federal government. The poultry barn owners said that they've been in contact with Van Orden and Senator Tammy Baldwin about the situation. For Civic Media News, I'm Jimmy Kuska.
Between Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, nearly 50 farmers were affected and nearly 2 million chickens were killed or given away. Gun deer hunt season is underway, and DNR officials are warning of a potentially smaller overall harvest. The number of registered hunters has dropped steadily over the previous years and stands at around 600,000 this year. With declining interest in hunting, mild weather conditions, with the latest possible start to this hunting season, the overall harvest numbers could suffer. Officials are also reminding hunters to have their deer checked for chronic wasting disease and registered online. Here's DNR herd health specialist Erin Larson.
CWD sampling is still available statewide. Anywhere that a hunter harvests a deer in the state, they can get it submitted for CWD sampling for free.
Prioritize safety, particularly when using tree stands. Tree stand accidents are a leading cause of hunting-related injuries. Here's Jennifer Doring, a physician assistant at Aspirus Emergency Department in Wausau.
Nationally, there are 6,800 deer stand accidents a year. Unfortunately, some of those occur within our community. Some of the common things that we can see are traumatic brain injuries. We can see spinal fracture, which unfortunately some do lead to paralysis, internal bleeding, organ damage. We see a lot of long bone fractures, and unfortunately some lacerations. And in more severe cases, we do see an occasional death from a deer stand accident.
With 300 to 500 fatalities each year in the U.S., it's important to choose the right tree.
Smaller trees, sometimes that can be more dangerous because they cannot support your weight, and that can result in a fall if you don't have the right tree.
Be sure to check your deer stand ahead of time and make sure that the surrounding area is not falling apart.
I always encourage people to keep a cell phone that is fully powered up and keep it on your person. Sometimes our accidents happen when you are alone.
Always wear blaze orange and make sure that other hunters can see you. 2 companies have come together to make a huge donation of food in Wisconsin. Lisa Hale tells us more.
49,000 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese were donated by Amcor to Fox Valley Food Pantries Wednesday. Ethan Haas is the board president for the Amcor Foundation. He says more should be done.
We also have to recognize that the impact we're making has to continue. So this is only a start. Scott and Brian would tell you that they have the most amount of demand right now. And during the holiday season, it increases significantly.
Statistics show that 11% of Wisconsin residents face some form of food insecurity.
Winter weather is here, and with the lake effect snow machine now turned on off of Lake Superior, as the colder air spills in, be sure to get your car prepared now before you hit the road for the holidays. Emergency Management Director Daniel Kane says besides food, water, warm blankets, chargers, and a snow shovel, cat litter or sand is an important part of an emergency preparedness kit for your car.
Got the cat litter there, that's for snow traction.
Don't forget the tools and extra gloves, too. And if you're headed south on Wednesday, northern Illinois is expecting some snow accumulations. So drive slow and safe and give yourself extra time to get there, because it will be a busy week for holiday travelers. Matt Friedline from the National Weather Service says,
it's the basics of dressing warmly, but having those extra layers in your vehicle, too, ready to go in case you were to get stranded. It's being smart and reminding young people.
According to AAA, nearly 1.6 million people in Wisconsin could be on the move. And the vast majority of those traveling will be driving, with over 1.4 million Wisconsin residents hitting the road. AAA says give yourself extra time to travel and obey traffic laws to arrive at your destination safely. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
A big win for the Packers. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers beat the 49ers 38-10. Green Bay running back Josh Jacobs rushed for 106 yards on 26 carries, scoring 3 touchdowns. Head coach Matt LaFleur.
You know that number 8 out there? Did you see how many tackles how many people he made him miss? It was pretty impressive. I think early on that got us going. You know, and we thought we could hit him with some of the downhill stuff. Obviously, they're missing a key part to that defense. 2 starters, actually. And so, but I thought, you know, we did what we had to do.
49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan.
You know, the first half, just the run defense was real disappointing. You know, I thought we got out of gaps a number of times. I thought we had way too many missed tackles. Just them being able to control that clock in the first half was one of the worst ones I've been a part of just for as far as a half.
The Packers improved to 8-3. They host the Miami Dolphins this Thursday night at Lambeau Field. Elsewhere in the NFL, the Bears losing to the Vikings in Chicago 30-27 in overtime. The Bears have now lost 5 in a row. College basketball, the Wisconsin men's team with an 81-75 victory over Pittsburgh to win the Greenbrier Tournament title in Orlando. The Badgers now 7-0. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. The new Peacock streamer Day of the Jackal dropped November 14th and has been critically acclaimed and popular with viewers. According to Variety, the show will be picked up for a season 2. The action thriller stars Eddie Redmayne as a hired assassin who is also being hunted by a professional killer equally as skilled. Redmayne's credits include Les Mis and The Trial of the Chicago 7, and he is also Oscar nominated. The first season has 10 episodes, and new shows drop Thursday nights. That's a pretty quick commitment to a season 2, but not as fast as the Jon Hamm show, Your Friends and Neighbors. Apple TV has already announced a season 2 pickup for the show that hasn't even premiered yet. That's right, Season 1 isn't available till April 11th. Oftentimes after an election, regardless of which party won, people say they are leaving America. It's usually an emotional knee-jerk reaction, but Ellen DeGeneres is actually leaving. The talk show host says she is not only headed to the UK due to the election results a couple weeks ago, but she is also quitting show business. No one is happier to hear this than those who work for her. Lady Gaga's new song, Die With a Smile, is the fastest ever to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. The song, which was a collaboration with Bruno Mars, has also picked up 2 Grammy nominations. All this on the heels of the announcement that Gaga will headline at next year's Coachella Festival. That ought to help her get that horrible Joker 2 taste out of her mouth. Timothy Chalamet's performance in the Bob Dylan biopic A Complete Unknown is getting Oscar buzz. Entertainment industry insiders are saying this is the best performance Chalamet has ever given and placing him as the Academy Award frontrunner in the Best Actor category. The Oscar chatter started after a screening on the Fox lot in LA last week, which gave insiders a first look at Chalamet's performance. A Complete Unknown hits theaters Christmas Day. Speaking of the Oscars, Chalamet's co-star in A Complete Unknown, Monica Barbaro, is also getting Oscar buzz in the Best Supporting Actress category, according to Variety. Variety put out its list of frontrunners in the category, which also included Ariana Grande for Wicked, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, and Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. Looks like I got snubbed again, folks. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Off and on light snow showers will continue through the day today. Our temperatures hovering in the mid-30s and then dropping into the low 30s by late this afternoon. Tonight, gradual clearing. It'll be breezy with a low of 20. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 30 on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy, high of 33. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 35.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.